Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Нараянам Намаскритя Нарамчева Нарутрамам Девим Сарасватим Весам Татоджия Муджри Шриматасва Катха Кришнан Пуня Шравана Киртана Хридята Сталпия Падрини Видноти Суршитам. Нашта Прияш Падришу Нитьям Бхагавате Севая Бхагавати Утамашлуке Бхактир Бхавати Найштики. We will be reading today Canto 4, Chapter 21, texts 47 and 48. Text 47. Hiranyakashipushchati Bhagavan Nindayatama Vivikshur Alsagatsuno Prahladasya Bhavata. Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlada Maharaja. Cha also appear again, Bhagavat of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nindaya by blaspheming, Tamaha in the darkest region of hellish life, Vivikshuha entered, Atyagat was delivered, Sunaha of his son, Prahladasya of Maharaja Prahlada, Anubhavata by the influence of. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Similarly, Hiranyakashipu, who by dint of his sinful activities always defied the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, entered into the darkest region of hellish life. But by the grace of his great son, Prahlada Maharaja, he also was delivered and went back home, back to Godhead. Purport. When Prahlada Maharaj was offered benediction by Narasimhadeva, due to his great devotion and tolerance, he refused to accept any benediction from the Lord, thinking that such acceptance was not befitting a sincere devotee. The rendering of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in expectation of a good reward is depreciated by Prahlada Maharaja as mercantile business. Because Prahlada Maharaja was a Vaishnava, he did not ask a benediction for his personal self, but was very affectionate toward his father, although his father tortured him and would have killed him had he himself not been killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prahlada Maharaja begged pardon for him from the Lord. This favor was immediately granted by the Lord, and Hiranyakashipu was delivered from the darkest region of hellish life, and he returned back home, back to Godhead, by the grace of his son. Prahlada Maharaja is the topmost example of a Vaishnava who is always compassionate towards sinful persons, suffering a hellish life within this material world. Krishna is therefore known as Paradukha Dukhi Krambudhi, or one who is compassionate toward others' suffering, and who is an ocean of mercy. Like Prahlada Maharaja, all pure devotees of the Lord come to this material world with full compassion to deliver the sinful. They undergo all kinds of tribulations, suffering them with tolerance, because that is another qualification of a Vaishnava who tries to deliver all sinful persons from the hellish conditions of material existence. Vaishnavas are therefore offered the following prayers. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya evacha patidnam pavanabhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. The chief concern of a Vaishnava is to deliver the fallen souls. Text 48. Vira Varya Pita Ritviya Samaha Svinjiva Sashvatihi Yasadrishi Achyuti Bhakti Sarvalokaik Hartari. Viravarya, the best of the warriors, Pita, the father, Ritviya of the globe, Samaha equal to in years, Sanjiva live, Shashvatiha forever, Yasya whose Idrishi like this, Achyute unto the supreme Bhakti devotion, Sarva all local planets, Eka one, Hartari maintainer. Translation. All the saintly Brahmanas thus addressed Prithu Maharaja, O best of the warriors, O father of this globe, may you be blessed with a long life, for you have great devotion to the infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the master of all the universe. Purport. Prithu Maharaja was blessed by the saintly persons present at the meeting to have a long life because of his unflinching faith and his devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although one's duration of life is limited in years, if by chance one becomes a devotee, he surpasses the duration prescribed for his life. Indeed, sometimes yogis die according to their wish, not according to the laws of material nature. Another feature of a devotee is that he lives forever because of his infallible devotion to the Lord. It is said, Kirtiryasya Sajivati, one who leaves a good reputation behind him lives forever. Specifically, one who is reputed as a devotee of the Lord undoubtedly lives forever. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking with Ramananda Raya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired, "What is the greatest reputation?" Ramananda Raya replied that the person who is reputed as a great devotee has the greatest reputation. For a devotee not only lives forever in the Vaikuntha planets, but by his reputation he also lives forever within this material world. End of purport. Om Gyana Tremendasya, Nanjana Shalakaya, Chakshudam Pamina, Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Bhutali Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda. Namaste Saraswati Guru Vanita Chridana Shishvana Varchitana. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. I humbly bow down and seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas, and thank you for the opportunity to read Srimad Bhagavatam for my own purification. I've selected a few points to summarize from lectures from Parampara. We are reading Canto 4, Chapter 21, which is called Instructions by Maharaj Prithu. In text 47, we have read that great sage Maitreya told Vidura about the example of great devotee of the Lord, Prahlada Maharaj, who was very forgiving. Although his father was a great demon, he forgave him. This is nature of Vaishnavas to forgive. This divine nature of forgiveness is explained in Bhagavad Gita in the chapter about divine and demoniac natures. Krishna explains that great souls who are divine personalities have this characteristic of forgiveness. In the history of the ISKCON, of the ISKCON movement, sometimes Srila Prabhupada disciples would do things in not a very proper way. They would fall down. Inevitably, His divine grace would forgive them and encourage them to rectify themselves and come back to Krishna consciousness. He would say, "What's done is done, forget about it." He was very merciful to his disciples. Prahlada Maharaj is very merciful. Hiranyakashipu returned home back to Godhead due to his son. Also in the purport to this text, we have read that the main concern of a Vaishnava is to deliver the fallen souls. The main concern can be seen in different ways. Chief concern of a Vaishnava could be to please Krishna or to satisfy Krishna. Chief concern is to glorify Krishna. The chief concern of a Vaishnava is to chant the holy names of Krishna. And here we read that the chief concern of Vaishnava is to deliver fallen souls. This is because Vaishnava wants to please Krishna, and Krishna wants for fallen souls to be delivered. So the chief concern of Vaishnava to deliver souls is not contradictory to his chief concern to please Krishna, because he knows what Krishna wants. Krishna comes in this Kali Yuga as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he says, whenever you go, whoever you meet, just instruct them in the signs of Krishna. Become a guru and deliver the land. This is the concern of all Vaishnava to follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructions to give Krishna consciousness to others. It is said, First, you should become Krishna conscious and then help others. You can't give what you don't have. As soon as one takes to Krishna conscious, he is Krishna conscious. There are different degrees of Krishna conscious. If one says, I should wait to become fully Krishna conscious to preach, when he will ever preach? Because there is no limit to how much you can become Krishna conscious. If one always says, I will improve some more and will improve some more, then I will preach, then he will never preach. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that he orders every person in this universe to preach Krishna conscious. He also said, having made your life successful, do good to others and preach. It could be that someone is not very well trained, not fully fixed in Krishna consciousness, and cannot very well preach. However, it should be understood that this movement is a preaching movement. Movement means to move, to be active. Movement means activity. In text 48, we have read that one who leaves a good reputation behind him lives forever. Saintly Brahmana addressed Prithu Maharaj as most valuable, as best of the warriors, because he was playing a role of a kshatriya. When glories are offered, they are offered in response to one's activities. Brahmanas glorified for their learning and Kshatriyas for giving protection. Prithu Maharaj was called by saintly Brahmanas a father of the whole world because he gave protection to his citizens. During Kali Yuga, there are no proper Kshatriyas because they're stealing from citizens as much as possible. The heads of state are vicious because they exploit the citizens, they kill the animals, they exploit the resources of the earth. Because instead of taking direction from qualified brahmanas, they take direction from businessmen and fools, men on the level of animals, are glorified as great men. One animal glorifies another animal. During Kali Yuga, politicians are thieves, but they are advertised like great persons. But here Prithu Maharaj was glorified by saintly Brahmanas and not by false propaganda. He was glorified because of his actual qualities. He served as a father for the world. Saintly Brahmanas wishes Prithu Maharaj to live a long life, and Srila Prabhupada tells us the devotee lives forever in Vaikuntha where there is no death. Birth and death is only for material world. Also, a pure devotee of Krishna lives forever by his reputation in material world. We are still reading about the glories of Prithu Maharaj after so many years. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, and Srila Prabhupada explains in purports, that of all human beings, devotees are the greatest. Of all the devotees, gopis are the greatest. Among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the greatest. One who becomes a pure devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorious. And among so many devotees, Srila Prabhupada is glorious. He has spread out Krishna conscious movement all over the world. Krishna is the master of all universes. He is the cause of all causes. Krishna is always the greatest supreme person, and living entities are always his eternal servants. One who understands this and spreads the message of Krishna consciousness lives forever. By the grace of Krishna and power of devotional service, we need to try to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. I will stop here. I apologize for any shortcomings during reading and summarizing. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasintu